We are going back to middle school today to talk about our mean, median, mode, and range, but it is going to be relevant in your college studies, I promise. It is likely that when you take your first college level statistics class, you are going to touch on mean, median, mode, and range. Now, this is probably going to be an easy review for you, which is great. It means you get an easy A in the homework assignments. But it might seem at a glance so easy that it's almost a waste of time or insultingly easy to achieve that A. But don't worry. The reason we talk about it in statistics isn't because we think you're dumb, and it isn't because this is all statistics is, adding a couple numbers together, dividing, getting their average. No. We need to know our mean, median, mode, and range because they are the building blocks for much more complicated and advanced forms of statistics. Some examples of why you need to be reviewing this and why you need to be proficient in it have to do with things such as our central tendency. So when we are looking at a group of numbers and we determine our mean and median, depending on whether that mean and median are very close to each other or they're far apart, will tell us if we're looking at a normal distribution, a right skew, or a left skew. Our mode can help us determine our null and alternative hypotheses when we get into hypothesis testing. So if we have a study with 40 people in it and 35 result with the same answer, well, our null hypothesis is probably going to be built around that. And our range has different parts to it. It's not just the whole set, but we can also be talking about things such as our interquartile range. So yeah, this is a really easy concept, but when you review this and you have it down like that, it's going to still be easy when you get into things such as central tendency, hypotheses, interquartile ranges, and all of the other fancy schmancy stuff. Since we are now in agreement that this seemingly middle school, elementary level concept is actually really important, today we are going to spend some time brushing up on our mean, median, mode, and range with this set of numbers I put together. Now I have 9 numbers here, and we're going to start with our mean. Arguably, the mode or the range are the easiest to calculate, but I've always preferred the mean, probably because it's the first one I learned, so it just seemed the easiest. And there's really only a couple steps here. We need to first figure out how many numbers we have, which I've already said are 9. We need to add all of these together, and whatever that number is, we divide it by 9. So picture little pluses in between all of these, divide it by 9, and then we're going to have our mean. Now, you could add this all together in your head or on paper. I'm always going to plug it into my calculator just in case I make some sort of error so that I can double check my work. So when I put that in, I am getting 16.22 repeating continually. We're going to round to 2 decimal places, is our mean. Now, our median is just our middle number, and when it's presented in a small data set like this, it's pretty easy to see. It's going to be 17. The thing with the median is it can sometimes feel a little tedious if your data set isn't already arranged in order from smallest to biggest. So if I had these numbers scrambled, I would have to first organize them and then calculate the median. So all you do with the median is you count in and you figure out, in this case, there are 9 numbers, so there should be 4 on either side of our median. It's going to be the 5th number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our median. It is going to be 17. Now, we have an odd number in the data set. There are 9. If, say, I had 10 numbers and I had an extra number here, I would count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the 13. Divide these by 2, get the mean of that, and that would be our median. So if it's an odd data set, you just count either side, make sure you have, in this case, 4 and 4, you are good to go. If you have an even data set, there is the additional step of calculating the mean of the 2 numbers in the middle. That is going to be your median. Now the mode, when you really think about it, is just deliciously easy because all you're doing is figuring out which number occurs the most. So in this case, we have 2 13s, but we have 3 20s. That's it. That's our mode. It's 20. 20 occurs 3 times, more than any other number. The most occurring number in our data set, 20. Our range, similar to the median, is easy to see at a glance when presented like this. You just need the largest and the smallest number in the data set. But sometimes if you're presented the data set in a jumbled clump, you're going to need to first sort through it to figure out which actually is your largest and smallest number. Now, I don't know about you, but when I first was introduced to this topic, I learned in the order of mean, median, mode, range, and therefore, to this day, I solve in the order of mean, median, mode, range. So by the time I'm figuring out my range, I already organized my data set back with the median. There's no extra step here. All you gotta do is pluck out your 21, pluck out your 10, subtract them from each other, and you get a range of 11. And just like that, we have our mean, median, mode, and range. And now that we have these numbers, we can start asking ourselves bigger questions. We can start discussing what the central tendency is most likely going to be. We can start moving on to what is the standard deviation? What is the variance? We can look into this data set and compare it to other samples, or maybe this is our population and this is our mu value for our mean, and we can start breaking it down into smaller pieces for different samples. Those are the bigger questions, but in order to ask those bigger questions, we need to first calculate our mean, median, mode, and range. I hope this refresher helped you out as you prepare to step into the bigger questions, and good luck with your studies.